This is Return to Tennis. Guys, we're back. We didn't have a lot of content for a couple weeks. Okay, we got some stuff going on. We just filmed one and got it up going, some unknown rackets. Well, today we got out and we hit a series of known rackets. They're a little older though. I've got 4 that I've hit for today, but 5 that I'm going to share with you. Why don't I hit the 5th one? Well, take a look. This is a Schlesinger Tim Henman signature racket. Tim Henman was a British player. He had his own signature series, kind of like Federer does today. It is a Schlesinger Pro Braided, right? New old stock. This racket has never been hit, never been strung. I wish it still had the placard on it, but you know, I'll tell you what I can get. I was very fortunate to come across this. It's in mint condition. It's spectacular. There was a young gentleman up north of me who happened to have one. I was looking for one, and he happened to have one. Can't find one on eBay. Got it at a great deal. I was really happy to get it. Even has the cover. Cover's a little banged up. I mean, it's a little beat up. It's a little dirty. It's been in long-term storage, but it has the cover. Great find. I'm not stringing this. I really wanted to hit one of these, but I'm not going to take one that's new old stock and yank the plastic off the handle and string it up. Nope. Into storage it goes with a couple of my others. I have an old Pro Kenix new old stock that still has the placard and the strings and everything. Haven't touched it. I have a Becker World Champion racket that's never been hit, never been strung. Haven't touched it. So we're not hitting that one. But if I manage to come across another one that's a little banged up or something, at a good deal, I'll get that and we'll hit that one. But for now, that stays in storage. So what did we hit? Well, let's start with the first one. The Technifiber T-Fight 315 Limited. This is from, I think, 2013, leather grip. This was Technifiber's attempt to clone the iconic Head PT57A. Yeah, this was their attempt at it. It is a 98 square inch head. I did restring it. This is one of the few that I have that we're hitting today that I actually restrung. I restrung it with Ohm's Pearl Rough, German string. Let's take a look. Here it goes, guys. The Technifiber T-Fight 315 Limited. As we just mentioned, it was meant to be a clone of the Head PT57A. A lot of companies have tried to duplicate that frame. Donnay did it with the Pro 197. Wilson has a mold code called the H19, and that was also an attempt at copying the PT57A. From what I've heard, the Technifiber T-Fight 315 Limited is the closest to the original that anybody's come. It does feel kind of similar to how the Donnay plays. Very flexible. The Donnay's more flexible, but very flexible, very controlled. Decent feel coming off the strings. Not an overly powerful frame. It has pretty good precision. Backhands felt good. Forehands we're going to switch to here in a second. I am trying to keep things for somewhere around 40 balls per frame for time. Oh, that was a bad slice. How about this one? It's a little better. We're getting there. Generally, I hit about somewhere around 15 backhands. Hit about 5 or 6 slice shots before I switch over to the forehand side. But it was a decent frame, very comfortable. Again, I mean, to be expected. It's like a 58 RA. It's not meant to be hard on the arm. It's meant to be a very control-based, kind of soft-feeling racket. Oh, here we go. Really? Going to start us off with a jam in the machine. Well, let's get that straightened out. But I've managed to hunt this down on eBay. Not a bad deal. I got it for a fair price. It's in decent condition. It's only the second Technifiber racket I've ever hit. It's a much older model at a 2013. My other one being the TF40 305, the previous generation. So that's like a 2020 model, I think, or 2019. It's a solid racket. I mean, and if you compare it, the frame side by side with the Dane, you can see that they have the same shape. The head size is a little smaller on the Dane at 97, but the mold and the shape of the frame is identical. You know, they were very obviously trying to copy the PT57A. Oh, that one's a little loopy. Solid racket. I mean, it felt good. Nothing crazy. I mean, there's a lot of other rackets that are flexible frames in my bag that I would prefer over this. There we go. Overall, a good hit, though. This is the only racket I'm hitting today that has been restrung. The other frames I'm hitting them with the strings that were in them when I acquired them. In most cases, the strings were in pretty good shape for most of those rackets, so I'm not too worried about it. Tensions might be a little low, which is our last experience, that maybe lower tensions might be something we want to consider, because we were hitting some really low tension rackets last episode and hitting them quite well. It was very surprising for that low of a tension how clean we were hitting the ball. So nice steady stroke, feels good. Ugh, that wasn't good. Top of the tape. Jamming up on me again. Yep, we're calling it. It's done feeding. We have to mix it up. All right, moving on. Fun hit. Very flexible, which is to be expected. I mean, but I don't know. I don't know if I like it that much. It hit solid. It felt very familiar, very similar, actually, to the Dane Pro 197. Because the Dane Pro 197 is also a clone of the PT57A. But this next racket has probably got the weirdest name for a racket I've ever heard. I think it's from 2004. It is the Dunlop Muscle Weave 200G. Pretty heavy racket, about 355 plus grams. Had to completely regrip it. The old grip was gone. 95 square inches. It has the original strings. Supposed to be fairly flexible. Some guys called this on the forums one of the greatest racket ever made. That's a pretty bold statement. But, you know, let's take a look how it goes, see what I think. Now, this is a chonky boy. This Dunlop is like a bat. Oh, good start there. 356 grams. That's a bit better. Flexible. I think it comes in like a 55R. Very flexible frame, but very heavy. I've ended up hitting a lot of these balls late, just trying to get the racket around. When I hit them clean, they're nice. I mean, 95 square inch head is still a little bit of a struggle for me. I like a 95. I used to play 95s and 92s. But here, currently, I'm playing a little bit bigger head sizes to try to get back in the groove to hopefully someday get back to where I was 20-some years ago. But I don't know if that'll be possible. Comfortable. Despite its weight, it's very comfortable. It is more headlight. Solid feeling racket. I mean, all that extra weight made it feel quite stable. It was a very stable feeling frame. Once we get the slice going, it's again very good, very solid. It's a little bit easier to hit through the ball with this one because of the extra weight in it. The extra mass helped me really drive through, especially on the backhand side. But just a fun hit. I can see why it was a popular racket. It's comfortable, but offers quite a bit of heft, quite a bit of plow through because of its weight. I just don't understand the naming concept behind it. Muscle Weave is a very odd name choice for a racket. Ooh, got a hold of that one. Top of the tape. Kind of deceptive, and they call it the 200G. I know that's kind of playing towards, the Black Max and some of their other rackets of that era that used that G on the end. But it kind of gives the impression that maybe it's 200 grams, which when I first saw it, I thought that's what it meant, but it didn't, because it's obviously much, much heavier. Good, solid baseline racket, though. Once you get a groove for it, you can really start to hit through the ball and have a fair amount of control. Not something I think I will end up putting in my bag, but I am glad I have one of them. Again, another eBay find. It actually showed up in really excellent condition, very little cosmetic damage. The grip was done. I had to completely put a brand new grip on it. I actually ordered a Dunlop replacement grip, so it would have a matching Dunlop grip. But solid racket. Let's see what we got next. Solid hit, felt very comfortable, heavy, really comes through the ball, drives the ball pretty well. 95 square inch head though, is a little smaller than I should probably be playing with. I can play them, I'm better off at that 98 square inch 100 range right now. But what else do we got? Got a couple of Wilsons. Another find on Facebook Marketplace. Was really excited when I came across them. It is the Wilson Pro Staff BLX 6.1. I've never hit any Pro Staff outside of the old 6.6 Tour Classic. This one is strung in a hybrid setup. It's a BLX Pro Hurricane and a multi-filament. I'm really curious to see how this hits. I'm guessing it feels really solid. I'm guessing it probably hits with a lot of control. Maybe not too much power though, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a lot of experience hitting Pro Staffs. I know a lot of people love Pro Staffs. I just was never me. The Jim Courier frame, and now this one. Let's see how it goes. Okay, here we go. The Wilson BLX Pro Staff 6.1. Only the second Pro Staff I've ever hit, which I mentioned earlier, the first one being the Jim Courier model. This one I think came along much later. This I think is like I think it's a 2013 was the release date on this one. Love the paint job on, a little bit of gold, the red with the black striping, the white. Very solid feeling racket. Oh, that's nice. Very, very solid feeling racket. Very controlled, very precise. Comes through the air very well. The BLX, I believe, at that time they were adding basalt to their layups, which is what prompted the BLX marker. But it is a really, really smooth feeling racket. Very stable, not too heavy. I think it's a lower end RA. I think I read it's like a 63, which isn't too horribly low. It's about the same as my Headspeed Pro. But it is lacking some power. It's not meant to be a power frame. It's meant for precision. Ooh, that wasn't very precise. It's precisely into the fence. It's that smaller head shape, smaller head size. It makes it a little harder on me. But it hits really clean and just feels very solid in the hand. Every one of these rackets I hit felt fairly solid and put together well. Some of the rackets that are on the market today that I've hit kind of feel hollow in their feel, and I don't like that hollow feeling racket, that empty kind of feeling in the core. But this was a really nice hitting racket. I may consider restringing this one and sticking it in the bag. It's a really good feeling racket. It's right now it's strung with BLX Pro Hurricane and a multi-filament and a hybrid setup, and it feels pretty good. The original string tension on this racket was in the 55 range, I think. I'm not sure what it's at now. It's probably sitting in the mid 40s, lower level. but it hits clean. It's nice to have a racket where you can kind of direct the ball where you want on the court. So, which is what it's for. It is meant to be a precise, kind of surgical kind of racket, not a power racket, not a, you know, it's meant to be a scalpel, not a club. That will have us moving on. We got one left, guys. Our final contender today, our final old school frame. It's another Wilson. I said I had two of them, I do. It is the Wilson BLX Blade 98. I love this paint job. This paint job is gorgeous, right? I loved how this looks coming through the air. This one's a little different than anything I've hit. Every racket in my collection, every racket I've hit is headlight. This one comes in at 3 points head heavy. It's the first time I've ever hit a head heavy racket, so I wasn't sure what to expect with this. You'll notice there's no strings. Made it hard to hit the ball. No, you're going to see why. You're going to see why there's no strings here in a minute. But let's take a look at it. Final racket for the day, another Wilson. The Blade BLX, that basalt layup in it, 98. As I mentioned just a moment ago, that this is the only racket I've ever hit that's head heavy. 3 points head heavy, which isn't a lot, but it's different. The closest I've hit to something like this would be the Yonex RQIS 30, which is a really lightweight racket, but it's even balanced. But never have I hit something head heavy. I don't know how I feel about it. It feels like it's easier to drive through the ball, but it also feels like, you know, the racket is pulling through it. If you know what I mean. Like all that energy toward the head of the racket really helps it get through, and you can kind of feel that sometimes on your extension, like the weight is carrying around. So I don't like it as much as the Pro Staff 6.1, the BLX. I really feel like that was a better hitting racket. But this is not bad. As I said, I'm hitting these all with the original strings that they showed up with. This was another eBay find. It was actually in really good condition. A little cosmetic damage, but not bad. Some slices. Sent that one sailing a little bit. Let's get some forehands out of it. Usually takes me a few forehands to get it kind of dialed in to feel, okay, where's the lift point? There we go. Just trying to be nice and smooth. Unfortunately, I did not get to hit as many balls with this one as I had planned. I ended up being a few balls short of 40. We had a technical malfunction. That should probably going to be coming up here in a second. But overall, not bad. Not bad. Not something that's going to go in the bag. But I can, you know, it's a Blade. It's a good, nice racket. It's, and the paint job with the black, gold, and white with that little bit of striping on it is gorgeous. It's one of the most beautiful rackets I think Wilson's ever made. Struggling with the two-handers today. And that was it right there. That was the ball that did it. Sent my absorber flying. Snapped, I think, 3 strings, maybe 2. Just crunched them, and they were gone. And that was the end of that. So that's it for today, guys. 4 somewhat older rackets, decade plus. All of them really solid hitting rackets. Some a little too heavy for me, like the Dunlop. I really feel like the the Wilson Pro Staff 6.1. I can see now. Everyone talks about how great it is. I've never hit one. That's an old model, and it felt really nice. So I can't only imagine what the latest ones feel like. But that's all I got for today, guys. I really appreciate you tuning in. We've got some other things in the pipeline. I have another new racket I've been swinging recently and playing, but I haven't reviewed it yet. I wanted to make sure I had a good feel for it. But until next time, guys, it's nice where you are. Grab your racket, get off the couch, get on the courts. Winter's coming just around the corner, guys. Don't miss out on this outdoor play. We'll see you later.